Right. So hi everyone. Can you all hear me? Yes, and can see your screen as well. All right. Perfect. No one with any issues to all of that. So a bit sorry with the small delay. So okay. Right. Till the others come in, till there is more people that come in. So just want to let you all know what the plan for today is, right? And where we are right now. So there's a few students who are joining newly, right? So this is specially for them. Okay. So what do we do here? We do past papers, right? It's a past paper class for English medium economic students, completely online, right? What do? We do unit by unit past papers. So far we have done unit number 1, 2, and 3. So we've done all the past papers questions from 2011 all the way to 2020 for unit 1, 2, and 3. So from today onwards, right, we will be starting unit number 4. Unit number 4, past papers. Now remember, this is not a theory class. This is not a revision class. So I will not be teaching you the, concepts from scratch, or the concepts from the very beginning. What we will be doing is, hopefully you all would have studied this right previously in a revision class, a theory class, or maybe in school, right? You all would have studied it somewhere. So what do we do here is that we go through the questions, right? So it's free for everyone. So I know the participants participation is not that great these days. So we'll see how it goes. But if there are people, I will end up doing this. So we'll be starting with unit number 4 today. So the plan today is to do the MCQs from maybe 2011 to somewhere around 2015, because with the normal timing, right, normal ways that we go, the amount of questions that we can finish within a day. So class will be over by 4. It will be over by sharp 4, because there's another seminar at 4 using the Zoom account. So I'll finish sharp at 4. We'll do as much as possible. Just want to check with y'all, how many of y'all did the MCQs and came maybe 2011 to 2015. I think there's around 25 to 30 MCQs. Did? Yes, no, did. Okay, right. So perfect. At least 20, 30 of y'all have done, right? Great, good to hear that. So guys, all the others also, right? Others also, in case if you all have not done, right, you all know, right? If you all come to class, you all know what is our next part that is there for next week. And also before ending the class, I tell you all what we're going to do next week. So please do those questions and come, because then it becomes much faster, because I don't give you all time to read the question, to do the question with me. No, because we don't really have that time. Okay, so I ideally want to finish all the past papers by March, but I think we're running a bit behind schedule, because I don't want to go too fast also, because you all will not understand. We'll see how it goes, right? And okay, one small notice also before we start. There were a few students who wanted to join my revision class, right? So anyone who wants to join, classes are on Saturdays, right? From 7 to 10 p.m. I'm starting unit number 8 in February, right? So the 6th of February, that is a Saturday, I'm starting unit number 8, that is public economy, with the government, taxes, expenditure, budget deficits, things like that. I'll be starting that unit on the 8th of Feb. And you also know, if you all want to catch up any previous units, you all can purchase the recordings and the tunes using the website, right? So that is that for all those who keep texting me and asking me for things there, right? So for more information, just drop me a text on WhatsApp. Maybe after the class, whenever I'm free, I'll reply. Okay, those being said, we'll start with 2011. I want to do until, let's say, around 2015. So I've put questions from 2011, 12, 13, 14, and 15, right? So the plan is to do this as around, I'd say, around 25 to 30 MCQs, right? So if you can do that today, and then by next Sunday, ideally, right, we can finish all the unit 4 MCQs. Then we'll move on to part 2. Similarly, we'll then move on to unit 5 and 6, right? That is how we'll do that. Tube delivery for the revision class. Yes, tubes will be printed and delivered, right? I'm hoping everyone who would have registered would have got, apart from the last 2 or 3 students who registered, right? So everyone would eventually get their tubes within a week. Cost to purchase one lesson recordings is 1,000. So that's how it is priced. Okay, so those things, guys, will clarify those things later. We'll get into the unit. Okay, right. Any questions? Anything else before I start that you all would want to ask? Yes, no questions? No questions? Okay, so we'll start with this part. Okay, one more thing, guys, about your those revision papers. I've not completely forgotten it. Don't worry, right? You all made, some people who joined newly will be a little lost, but those who were there from the very beginning, you all remember you all made a revision paper for Unit 2 and 3. So I've been a bit busy with a few exams these days, right? I'll sort those out, and eventually, little by little, all those papers, whatever that you all made, will come back to you. Don't worry about that. Okay, so we'll work on it. Don't worry, there's time to get that done. Okay, right. So 2011 A levels, right? Question number 19. Is this 2011 old or new? There is no old or new. There's only one paper, 2011. That's the old syllabus. Yeah. So 2011 A levels, question number 19. Okay. So 2011 A levels, question number 19. They say, right? Which of the following statements best describes the operation of the law of diminishing returns? What do you all think? The law of diminishing returns. First thing, law of diminishing returns comes into play. Does it come into play in the short run or does it come into play in the long run? This law of diminishing returns. Is it a short run concept or a long run concept? Exactly. It's a short run concept. The law of diminishing returns is in the short run. So what does this law of diminishing returns say, guys? The law of diminishing returns says, right, in the short run, when you keep on increasing your variable factors, right? So you know in the short run, there are two types of production factors. Okay. I'm hoping you all are aware of this. There is variable factors, right? We usually say labor is variable, and we have fixed factors, that is capital, things like machines, buildings, right? Things like that. So what does this law of diminishing returns say? The law of diminishing returns says in the short run, right, when you're increasing output, right, to increase output, when you keep on increasing variable factor, right, when you keep on increasing variable factor, the total product will eventually, will at first will start to increase, then it will increase at a slower rate, and then after one point it will start to fall, right? That is what this law of diminishing returns says. Guys, please study and come, right? Do the questions and study and come, because otherwise it will be Greek, right? If this is the first time you're hearing this word law of diminishing returns, very sorry about that. Your option is not this class. Your option is either a theory or a revision class. Okay, so please figure out where you all stand. Okay, and somehow try to get it done. You all only have a few months left. Okay, so we'll go with the answers that is there, right? So answer number 1 says, as the consumption of good increases, total satisfaction rises, but at a diminishing rate. This is not law of diminishing marginal returns. What do you think this states? There's another law here. Anyone who knows which law is this talking about? Number 1. What is this saying? What is the first one saying? First one is saying, as the consumption of good increases, total satisfaction rises but at a diminishing rate. Exactly. It's talking about the law of marginal utility, guys. The law of marginal utility, right? It's not there in your syllabus anymore, right? So it's not the law of diminishing that. So not number 1. Then number 2, it says as more of variable factor is added to a fixed factor, okay, total product rises but at a diminishing rate. Okay, looks right. So we'll leave this. We'll go to the others. Number 3 says, as all factors are increased. Now, in the short run, can we increase all the factors? No, we can only increase what? We can only increase the variable factors. The fixed factors are held fixed or constant. So it's not number 3. Number 4 says, as more of a variable factor is added to a fixed factor, okay, the marginal cost of production diminishes. Not really. The marginal cost, it usually falls. Yes, at one point it falls, but as more and more is added, it goes up, increases. The marginal cost actually increases when more and more is added. As more of a variable factor is added, at the beginning, yes, it will fall, I agree. But when you add more and more and more, right, the marginal cost will actually increase. I'm hoping you all know that this is the MC curve. This is how the MC curve looks like. So not this. And then the fifth one says, as all factors are increased in proportion, again, all factors cannot be increased. We are still in the short run. So then the second one becomes the answer. Second one says, as more of a variable factor is added to a fixed factor, total product rises, but at a diminishing rate. So let me see if I can find a picture relating this. I added a picture somewhere. Let me see. Is the picture? Okay, this picture. Okay, so if you look at this picture, can you see that this total product, when you're adding now this axis is variable input, this axis is your output, your product. So when you're adding variable input at the very beginning, yes, the product is increasing, but then eventually when you keep on adding variable input, what happens? The total product still increases at a lower rate, diminishing returns, and then after one point, the total product will even start to fall, right? So I'm hoping you all are aware of the curves and know how this thing works, right? So the answer there, question number 19 is answer number 2. Are we okay? Yes? Questions? No? Shep? Okay, that's an easy question. It comes from the definition itself, right? Okay. Then we'll move on to this. Now, this is a question I actually like. I like these calculations. I like questions like this. Now, here they're saying the short run marginal cost of producing good X is indicated by the schedule below. Now, what is marginal cost? Can someone tell me what is marginal cost? When we say marginal cost, what is the simple meaning of this? When someone says marginal cost? Exactly, the extra cost or the additional cost, right? The additional cost of producing one extra unit. In order to produce one additional unit, what is your cost? That is what marginal cost means. So to produce the first unit, your additional cost is 30 rupees. To produce your second unit, your additional cost is 20 rupees, right? Then they are saying, so that is there, and they are saying, given that the total fixed cost is 30, right? Total fixed cost, remember total fixed cost doesn't change. At what level of output is short run average total cost lowest? At which level of output is short run average total cost lowest? Now they have given you marginal cost, they have given you fixed cost, but they are asking about average total cost. Now, how do you work with this? What exactly is the connection here? So I'll draw this again a little. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, right? So I'll say fixed cost. So let me add a few more spaces here. So I'll add a 0 also when there is 0 units, right? There is a fixed cost. Then I'll say the variable cost, right? And okay, so variable cost, okay, more spaces. And then we'll take the total cost. Now, see how I work with this very carefully, right? Now, they are saying, right, now to remember to find this average total cost, what should you do? You have to take the total cost, divide it by the number of units. Then you get the average total cost. So to find average total cost, what do? It's your total cost divided by your units. So first of all, to find total cost, we have to find, you all know total cost is the combination or is the addition of what? Total cost is the addition of fixed cost and variable cost. So here they are saying, can you see the fixed cost is 30. So no matter which level of output, the fixed cost is 30. So at whether you're producing 1 unit, whether you're producing 2, whether you're producing 3, whether you're producing 4, 5, 6, and 7. So at all these units, the fixed cost is going to be the Same, it's not going to change. But now look at the variable cost part here. How are you going to figure out the variable cost? What is variable cost? Variable cost is the cost that increases with output. So when you're increasing your output, if a cost is increasing, that means it's a variable cost. They are saying to produce the first unit, the additional cost is 30. So don't you think that the variable cost to produce one unit is 30 rupees? The variable cost to produce the second unit, they're saying to produce the second unit, the marginal cost is 20. So earlier you had a variable cost of 30. Now another 20 is getting added. So now it's 50. In the third unit, they're saying the marginal cost is 16. So now it's 66. The fourth unit, they're saying the additional cost is 24. So 66 plus 24 becomes 90. The fifth unit, they're saying it's 40. Then it's 130. Okay, give me a second. Let me space this out. Okay. For the sixth unit, they're saying it's 56. So 186. And the sixth unit, they're saying it's 64. 240. Did you all get this part? This part. How do I get the variable cost? Guys, you all have to understand the logic behind it, right? What is the logic behind it? What is variable cost? Variable cost is the cost of when the output increases, right? When output increases, if a cost is also increasing, that is called a variable cost. Then what is marginal cost? Marginal cost is each additional unit. Now to produce, right? I'll explain this part again. To produce the first unit, right? Now see, to produce the first unit, they are saying, okay, now to produce 0 units, okay, when you're, okay, come here, I'll explain the 0 part first. So when you're producing 0 units, you know, the fixed cost is 30. Remember, at 0 units, is there a variable cost? No. You all know that, right? When you're producing nothing, there is no variable cost. This is 250. Did I add wrong? 40, yeah, 250, no? Sorry. Okay. So here, now they're saying, right? Now you know when they're producing no units, right? When they're not producing anything, the variable cost is 0. So do you all understand this part, this 0 part, when they're producing 0 units? Yes. Is there any questions here? When they're producing 0 units, right? Fixed cost is still there, which is 30. But when they're producing 0, that means no variable cost. Now, what is variable cost? Variable cost is like your cost for raw materials, like let's say for, you know, your direct labor. When you're producing, not producing anything, do you have to pay for, let's say, labor? Do you have to pay for your raw materials? No, right? That's 0. So then here, now I'll explain this part. So now they're saying, in this question, they're saying when you're producing one extra unit, right? When you're producing one more unit, your marginal cost is 30. What does that mean? When you're producing one more unit, your additional cost is 30. Which cost increases with output? Is it fixed cost or variable cost? Your additional cost is 30. Is that additional cost a fixed part or a variable part? So which is increasing? With output, it's your variable cost that increases. So they are saying when you're producing one unit, your additional cost is 30. So additional cost is the variable cost. So your fixed cost is same. At all the instances, it is 30. That will not change. So to produce one extra unit, now see your total cost. Your total cost, right? If you look at it, okay. Here now is 30. So your additional cost here now becomes 60. Your additional cost here now it's 80. Can you see that it makes sense now? Whenever you're increasing your output, right? When you went from 0 to 1, your marginal cost was 30. That means 30 was added to your total cost. 30. The difference between 60 and 30. When you go to your second unit, they're saying the marginal cost is 20. So 60 becomes 80. The third unit, they're saying the marginal cost is 16. That means the additional cost is 60. So if that is so, what is the cost here? Simple calculation, right? So there, it then becomes how much? 96, 120, 160, 226, and 200, sorry, 216. 96, 6, yeah, 216, and 208. Okay, so that is how you figure out the total costs, the total cost of each of these situations. So how do you figure out total cost? It's fixed cost plus variable cost. So fixed cost plus variable cost, how do you, fixed cost you all know is very easy to get. There is no calculation to get fixed cost because the fixed cost is fixed. How do you get the variable cost? You have to look into marginal cost there. Marginal cost is the each unit, the additional cost you are producing, right? For each unit you produce, what is the additional cost? To produce the first unit, the additional cost is 30. So the total variable cost is 30 there. To produce a second unit, they are saying the marginal cost is 20. So how much is your total variable cost? To produce one unit, it was 30 plus this additional 20, it becomes 50. To produce 3 units, they're saying the marginal cost is 16. So to produce 2 units, it was 50. To produce the third unit, it's another 16. So your total variable cost becomes how much? 66. So that is how you get the total variable cost. Total fixed cost plus total variable cost is equal to what? Is equal to your total cost. Yeah, so that is how we get it. Okay, then now this is still not what they're asking. In this question, they're still not asking this. What are they asking? Sorry, erase this. Okay, they're asking you at what level of output is the short run total cost the lowest? So again, now you have short run average total cost. So now again, you have to find average total cost now at each of these situations. So what is the average total cost here? When you're producing 1 unit, the total cost is 60. 60 divided by 1 is 60. Here the average total cost is 80 total cost divided by 2 units, it is 40. Here it's 96 divided by 3 units, it's 32 the average cost. Here 120 divided by 4 is 30. Here 160 divided by 5 is again 32. 216 divided by 6, what we get? We get some decimals. 36, no, 36. And then 280 divided by 7 is how much? 40, right? So that is your average total cost. So now look at these numbers and say at which level of output is the short run average total cost the lowest? The short run average total cost is lowest at which level of output? It's lowest when you are producing 4 units, no? When you're producing 4 units is where your short run average total cost is the lowest. So it's 30, no? 30 is the smallest number. That is how you get the answer for this question. Now, this is a very, very good question. Is there a shortcut to do this question? Shortcut says shortcut will come with practice. If you're really good at this, you don't have to, spend a lot of time doing it. You can quickly do it. You can do it in, let's say, around 1 minute, 2 minutes, you can do it. There is no real shortcut. The only way is practice. If there is a shortcut, let me know. I'll teach you all the next class. I have not sat to figure out a shortcut here, but this is the actual approach. This is the logic behind how you find the answer. Are we okay, Sep? Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the next question. Okay, there is one shortcut. Can't we use MC divided by unit? Marginal cost divided by the unit. MC equals change in total cost. MC equals change in total cost. Marginal cost is equal to change in total cost divided by the change in units. Yeah, so change in units here is 1. No? So yeah, change in Q. Correct. MC equals change in PC divided by the change in Q. Can't we use MC divided by units? Marginal cost divided by the number of units. No, I don't think you can really get that. 5 minutes. Okay, so the shortcut, just in case you all have a shortcut, just send me a picture on WhatsApp. After this thing, I'll picture on WhatsApp. Just write it and send me a picture on WhatsApp. If it makes sense, I'll explain it to you. Okay, I've not sat to think of a shortcut. Okay, moving on to question number 21. Which of the following is not consistent with perfect competition? They're simply asking you guys, which of this is not a feature of perfect competition? Number one, large number of producers and consumers, advertising by individual firms, one market price only, homogeneous product, perfectly elastic demand curve. It's a very easy one. Remember, in perfect competition, there are large number of buyers. So it is consistent. This is true. Advertising, no. One market price, yes. Everyone is a price taker. There is one market price only. A homogeneous product, yes. Everyone gives a very similar product. And number five, a perfect elastic demand curve. Why do they have a perfect elastic demand curve, guys? What is the reason? Because the firm is a fifth one. Because the firm is a what? Exactly. Because the firm is a price taker. Because the firm is a price taker, you have a perfect elastic demand curve. So will these firms advertise? No. Now, for example, example for perfect competition is paddy farmers. Now everyone is giving the same paddy, no? Right? There is no point of you going and advertising. So that just because you advertise doesn't mean people will come and buy more from you. So in perfect competition, you will not have advertising by individual firms. These individual farmers will not go and advertise their things on TVs or newspapers or things like that. Will not really happen. So this is the point that is not consistent with perfect competition. Okay, someone wanted the answer for this? Okay, get a screenshot. If not, it's the third one, four units. Right? Okay, 21 done. Okay, 22. Okay, 22 is saying for an equilibrium in perfect competition, average revenue is what? In perfect competition, average revenue, AR equals something, something, something. I think even in my class, I was saying that so many times. AR equals in perfect competition, average revenue is equal to marginal revenue, not total revenue, marginal revenue, guys. Marginal revenue is equal to demand is equal to price. So all of this is equal in perfect competition at equilibrium, right? That means when the firm is not making any economic profits or economic losses, then when they're making normal profits, all of this is the same. Okay, and all of it will be a positive value. It will not be zero, guys. It will be a positive value. If you have seen the graphs, you all have seen the graphs, right? I'm hoping you all have, right? So if you have a normal thing, this is the line that we're talking about, this curve, right? So this is where this comes, right? AR equals this. Okay. So then for a firm in equilibrium in perfect competition, average revenue is one less than marginal revenue. No, right? It's equal to marginal revenue. So first one is out. The second one they are saying, so this is not the answer. Got it. Second one is saying equal to marginal revenue and both are zero. No, it's equal to marginal revenue, but it's not zero, right? So not this. Third one, it's equal to marginal revenue and both are positive. Yes, looks like the answer. Fourth one, greater than marginal revenue. No. Greater than marginal revenue, which is positive. No. So it should be number 3. So in equilibrium in perfect competition, average revenue is equal to marginal revenue. AR is equal to MR and both are positive. So for example, let's say this is 10. So it is not 0, this is 0. Right? So this is the quantity axis. This is the price for the cost, or let's say the revenue or anything. All of that will come on that axis. Got it? So the answer there is number 3. Set. Easy one. If you know the diagram, it's a very easy question. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question. Okay, is any questions here? Are we okay? So that's it with 2011. We'll move on to 2012. Okay, 2012 there's only 3 questions. Lucky. But 2012, now see 2012 there was 3 questions. The next year in 2013, since they have given very less questions, next year they gave a lot. See in 2013 there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 questions. 2014 they gave even more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, what is PCR in question 22? Guys, PCR is so price, cost, revenue. All of this is measured in this axis. So this then can be price. This is price. This can be the revenue also. When you put, let's say, the marginal cost curves, it can be the cost also, right? So that is what that means. Okay. Okay. Moving on to the next question. This is this. Okay, this is an easy one. 2012 A levels now. Question number 15. So 2011 ones are done. Coming in 2012, they're saying a firm employs variable amounts of labor to a fixed amount of capital to produce a good. So capital is fixed, labor is variable. If the daily wage paid to laborers increase, paid to labor increases, how does this affect the firm's cost? Okay. What do you think happens to total variable cost now? If the labor, this thing increases, if the wage increases, obvious, right? If you have to pay more salaries to these people, your variable cost is increasing, no? So variable cost, you can say it's increasing. So then we can cut off these two, right? So these two are not the answers. So 1 and 2 is cut off, right? Then tell me, now here labor is a variable cost. Now when this wage paid to labor increases, what do you think will happen to fixed cost? Will fixed cost increase? It will not change, no? They are saying labor is variable. So if labor is variable, just because labor cost increases, will fixed cost increase? No. So fixed cost will not increase. So you can cut the decrease also, you can cut the increase also, you can cut this also, you can cut this also. So you easily end up with the fourth answer. So the variable cost increases, the fixed cost is constant. Remember, total cost is a combination of total variable and total fixed, both. No? So if one of this is increasing, the total cost will also have to increase. So total cost also increases. So answer is a very easy one, number 4. Okay. Now, then moving on to question number 16. Okay. Which of the following is true about marginal revenue of a perfectly competitive industry? MR. Guys, very, very easy question coming from the same thing that I taught you in this last question. What is happening to this marginal revenue? MR. Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? Is it zero? Is it constant? What is it? It's constant, right? You know the diagram, it's a simple thing as that. So the marginal revenue, right? The answer is, in a perfectly competitive industry, marginal revenue is constant. It doesn't increase, right? It doesn't decrease. It doesn't increase and then decrease. No. Whereas so marginal revenue is simply a line like this. It's a straight line. It is constant. There's a logic behind it. I'm hoping your revision teacher or theory teacher would have taught. Revision class students, in case you've forgotten, go watch the recording. I would have taught you with numbers the logic behind why is it constant and why is it equal to AR, why is it equal to price. Okay, 16, number 1. So coming into question number 17 then. 17 is saying a monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition is a market structure in which there is. So in monopolistic, guys, remember monopoly and monopolistic are not the same, right? Monopoly is where there is one. Monopolistic is where there is a large number, right? A structure where there is only one firm? No. That is monopoly. A small number of firms? No. That is like an oligopoly. A large number of firms producing an identical product? That is something like a perfect competition, where a large number of firms are producing identical, the same product. But here, large number of firms producing a differentiated product. Now that is monopolistic comparison. No advertising, no, there will be advertising. Now, for example, what are the examples? Let's say you can say restaurants, right? You can say, let's say, what? Let's say clothing shops. Let's say saloons, right? There are so many, right? There's large number of producing. And do they produce the same thing? No, it's a little different. No, do you think all restaurants product the exact same product? No, they must, let's say they must be producing kottu, but the kottu in different shops are tasting different, no? So they have product difference in exactly the kottu at, let's say the kottu at Shangri-La to kottu at the Pilavus to, let's say the kottu and even KFC at kottu. Guys, is the KFC kottu there anymore? I think I remember KFC came with a kottu. Was it a fail and is it not there anymore? Or is it still there? That was a KFC kottu. I've had it once. Like next level bad. Is it there anymore? Anyone had it recently or saw it recently? No? Not there? Okay, so I think you'd have been a utter fail and they would have scrapped it out. Yeah. So that is where, right? So they have a differentiated product. No, there is large number of people having these fast food outlets, but it's a differentiated product. So that is a characteristic of a monopolistic competitive firm. See, easy question. Yeah. Good news. That's it. That's it with this year. So we then move on to the next year. Yes, I'll tell you this. This unit is a interesting unit. It has a lot of curves and diagrams, but if you all have learned it properly, trust me, it's one of the easiest units that you can score. And again, when it comes to the part 2 questions, the examiner has a very few set of questions, right? He has, let's say, around 10-15 questions that he always keeps repeating and putting it in the paper. Right? When we do the part 2 questions, you all will realize that's the same question that this fellow keeps on asking. So actually this unit, right, go answer this unit in your exam. So I'll tell you this, in when I was doing A levels, right, I answer for question number 17 is the fourth one, 17.4. Okay, so when I was doing A levels, I don't write question number 1. I don't know, I think I've told this before. I don't write question number 1. That's one of the easiest units, but because it's a theory unit, I don't really like it much, because I know in a theory question you can't score the full mark, right? So theory question, they cut you somewhere, they cut mark somewhere. So I didn't, even in A levels, I didn't write question number 1. I usually write question number 2, 3, and maybe 4, right? 4 or let's say 5, something like that. I don't really go and write question number 1 sometimes. Question number 1 is easy, but I'm just saying, right? So this question, right, this question will be your question number 4 in your A levels, right? I'm talking about the essay question, and it's going to be an easy question. Usually it's easy. At least from the 20, you are able to score at least 60 marks. But question 1, isn't it compulsory? No, question 1 is not compulsory. From the first 5 questions that is there in part A, you have to write a minimum, let's say 2 or maybe 2 to 3 questions you have to write. Totally you have to write 5. So any unit in your part 2, none of the questions are compulsory. Just go through a past paper book and have a look. Okay, right. So coming to this question number 15, when the marginal product of labor is equal to the average product of labor. So what I did here, I put all the curves together, because you know in this whiteboard I can't draw now, right? So can you all help me label this? Curve number 1, what is it? What is the curve? To be said, which curve is curve number 1? What do we call this? AP. Okay, so curve number 1 is average product. What is curve number 2? MP. Perfect. Curve number 2 is your marginal product. What is curve number 3 there? Number 3. Yes, number 3 is marginal cost, right? Number 4, the final one, is your average cost, or you can call it the average variable cost, right? So it's actually the average variable cost that mirrors with the average product, right? So in sometimes you can even say average cost, that's fine. But the more correct answer I'll say is average variable cost. Okay, that is the one that mirrors with average product. Okay. Okay, now we have labeled this. Now we'll see. Now, if you know this diagram, it's a very easy thing. This thing has to be in your head. I put this thing so because I don't have to draw it. We'll see. They're saying when marginal product of labor is equal to average product of labor. So they're talking about this point. when this point that I'm circling in yellow, right? When the marginal product is equal to the average product, what happens? Marginal product of labor is at its maximum. Is the marginal product as its maximum? No. Marginal product is maximum at this point. So not this. Second one, marginal cost of production is at its minimum. So MC curve is at its minimum at this point. No, MC is at minimum at this point here. So not that also. So cut. Number 3, marginal cost is equal to minimum average variable cost. That's correct, no? Can you see at this point, right? So you connect this here, right? At this point, the marginal cost is equal to what? The minimum ABC. See, it cuts the ABC curve from the rock bottom, from the right bottom point. So this is correct. Average total cost as it is at its minimum, you can't really say that. So average total cost will be like this. So it will be somewhere like this. You can't really say it's in the minimum. So it will be like, it can be like this. It can be in the minimum, might not, it's a little thing there, right? But this 0.3 you can definitely say. So it's not this. And 4 says the total product of labor is that its maximum. No, remember total product goes like this and comes like that. It's at its maximum when this hits here. Okay, my diagram is bad. Okay, so it goes like that and that. So when this hits here only at its maximum. Hoping you all know how that curve looks like. So not this as well. Then is the answer number 3. When marginal product of labor is equal to average product of labor, marginal cost is equal to minimum average variable. Guys, for this, this unit, if you know the curves, right? If you know how these curves work, if you know how these things work, trust me, it is one of the easiest units to answer questions. See, if you just know how these curves look like, you can draw it and you can answer the question there. There is no rocket science. It's a simple thing. So trust me, in whatever theory note to revision class thing to anything, all these diagrams will be there. So take some time and study those. Yeah, take some time and please go through and study it. Get the logic behind it and all of it. It's a very easy unit. Okay, done. Then we go to 2000. Okay, the 16th question. To increase its labor force from 100 to 101, the firm has to increase its daily wage rate from 600 to 650. Under this situation, the marginal cost of labor per day. What do you think? So how do you find marginal cost? What is marginal cost? Come with the logic. The marginal cost is equal to the change in total cost divided by the change in input. So to find the change in total cost, what do we first have to do? We have to find the total cost. So earlier, right, when the firm is having 100 labor, the cost of one fellow is 600. You have to pay a daily wage rate of 600. So first, the labor is 100 into 600. That is equal to how much? 60,000. Later, when you're increasing it from 100 to 101, right? When you're having 101 people, now you have to pay 650 per person. So 101 into 650 is how much? 650 is how much? 6. How much? 60. Okay, bad at my maths. 101 into 650 is 65,650. So what is the change in total cost? Change in total cost is 5,650. 5,650. So we'll put it to this equation. Change in total cost is 5,650. Change in input, how is the change in input? Change in input is 1. Earlier you had 100 laborers, now you are having 101 laborers, so it's increasing by 1. So 5,650 divided by 1 is 5,650 itself. So what is the marginal cost? Marginal cost of labor is 5,650. Yeah, easy question. If you simply know what marginal cost is, you can easily calculate. Okay, done. Then we move on to question number 17. Okay, question number 17 is saying an economist calculates that a firm has incurred the following production cost over the course of a year, right? So they have uh, wages and salaries, opportunity cost of owner's time, cost of materials, rent, marketing fees, interest on bank loan, and the interest foregone on a finance provided by the owner. Okay, by how much does the total cost defined by an economist exceed the total cost defined by an accountant? So first of all, you have to figure out that an accountant will only take the direct cost, the economist will take direct cost plus indirect cost. Okay, shall we just label these just for your knowledge? Whether it's, can you all tell me whether it's a direct cost or an indirect cost? First one, wages and salaries. Yeah, direct. Okay. Okay. Opportunity cost of owner's time. Okay, I think I'll have to reduce the font a little. This is direct. Okay. Second one is indirect, right? There is no direct monetary payments, indirect cost. Third one, cost of raw materials is a direct cost. There is a direct monetary payment there. The fourth one, rent, is again a direct cost. The fifth one, okay, so small alignment issues. Right? Okay. So fifth one, that is marketing fees, direct. Interest on bank loan, guys, interest on bank loan is direct, right? Interest income foregone by the finance provider by the owner, that is indirect, right? So this is direct cost, this is indirect cost. So a accountant will take what? A accountant, so for accounting cost is only the direct cost. So can you all tell me what is the accounting cost? 150 plus 80 plus 30 plus 20 plus 25. How much do we get here? 230, 260, 280, 295. Okay, 35. Give me something. 230, 260, 280. Yeah, 305. Okay, so then economic. Okay, so the economist, when he will calculate, he takes direct cost plus indirect cost. So 150, 40, 80, 30, 20, 25, and 50. So how much is that total? The total is 360. So what is the difference then? The difference is how much? 55,000, right? This is 360,000, this is 305,000. The difference is how much? 5,000. So simple context is you don't have to do all of this. If you simply take the indirect cost here, right, and add the two indirect cost also, you will get 55,000. So 40,000, 15,000, you get 55,000, right? So you can do it that way as well. Okay, done. Then we have, okay, we'll move on to the next question. Okay, this is also a nice question. Not a hard question, it's an easy question, but it's a nice question. Question 18. Firm A reduces its workers from 250 to 200, and as a result, its output decreases from 5,800 to 4,800. Okay. Firm B increases its workers from 800 to 1,000, and as a result, output increases from 2,000 to 2,200. What happens to labor productivity? So is economic cost always greater than accounting cost? Yes, economic cost is always greater than accounting cost as long as there is an indirect cost. If there is no indirect cost, then accounting cost and economic cost will be equal. This is the answer for question number 16. Answer number 3, 5, 6, 50. Okay. Okay, so coming to our question. Okay, how do you find labor productivity? Guys, can you tell me how do you find labor productivity? What is the equation? Labor productivity is equal to, what is labor productivity? Labor productivity in very simple terms mean, right, what is the amount of output that one unit of labor can produce? So what is the amount of output one person can produce. So if 250 people can produce 5,000, how much can one person produce? It's 5,000 divided by 250. Guys, it's output divided by input, not input divided by output. Okay, so at the first situation, it's 5,000 divided by 250. In the second situation, the output is falling to 4,800 and the labor is only 200 people. So can you all tell me at we're still in firm A. Firm A, what is the labor productivity at both of these situations? So at the first one, labor productivity is 20. Okay. Second one, after the change, it's 24. So what is happening to labor productivity in firm A? Is it rising, falling, staying constant? When they reduce their workers, when they have reduced their workers, their labor productivity is increasing, right? It is rising. So therefore, you can cut these answers out. Which answers can you cut off? You can cut the fall. You can cut the fall there. So 2, 1, and 4 is cut off. So then calculate labor productivity for the second one, for firm B. So firm B, they're saying when firm B has 800 workers, there is 2,000 units of output. So 2,000 divided by 800. And in the second situation, they are saying when they increase their workers to 1,000 people, the labor productivity increases 2,200. So 2,200 divided by 1,000. So, okay. What do we get as answers here? 2.5 and 2.2, yeah? So 2.5 and 2.2. So what is happening to labor productivity? Is it increasing or decreasing? Labor productivity is reducing, no, it's falling. So then you can cut all the answers that says rise. Right. Remains unchanged, also you can cut it off. So this answer is gone, this answer is gone, this answer is gone. Okay. So you end up with answer number 2. In firm A, it rises. In firm B, it falls. Because it's a very simple calculation that you have to do, right? So hoping y'all are okay and y'all are able to at least calculate this, because these are the basics of questions that they can ask y'all to calculate. Okay. Moving on to the next. Can you ask students to send messages directly? Okay, no problem. Guys, if you all have, when you're sending text messages, can you send it directly? Because sometimes it's troubling the others, right? Rather than sending it to everyone. Can you send it directly to me? You can select my name and send it. Okay. Okay, so question number 19. An industry consists of a large number of firms, all of which produce an identical product. Now, this is a very tricky question, and this is you know, remember in every question you have a every paper you have a tricky question somewhere, right? This is one of those kind of questions. Okay, industry consists of a large number of firms, right? There's a lot of firms, all of which produce an identical product. So a lot of firms are there, they're producing somewhat of a similar product also, right? An identical product. What could explain why the demand curve facing each individual firm is downward sloping? Okay, I'll tell you all this. So first of all, to have a perfectly elastic demand curve, right? A perfectly horizontal demand. When there is a perfectly horizontal demand curve, what is the firm? A firm is a price. What? Price taker. So when you have a perfectly horizontal demand curve, firm is a price taker. Why is the firm a price taker? What are the reasons? Reasons for a firm to become a price taker? Homogeneous product, right? So everyone is selling the same product. Okay, that is one. What else? Number 2, yes, they can't decide the knowledge. Okay, so that is why this thing. Yes, so they are just a small what they okay they supply only a small portion, supply only a small portion of the market supply. And then the third factor, guys, is having perfect knowledge. So when all these three factors, right? Sorry, perfect knowledge. Okay, perfect information. Okay, perfect information. So when the buyers and sellers have perfect information, when there is a homogeneous product, and when the firm supplies only a small proportion of the total output, the firm becomes a price taker. So only when they become a price taker, they have what kind of product? They have a, sorry, not what kind of demand curve, they have a horizontal demand curve like this. But in this question, they're talking about a what type of a demand curve? A downward sloping demand curve. So to have a downward sloping demand curve, see, they explain why the demand curve of each individual firm is downward sloping. So for a firm to become a downward sloping firm thing, one of these factors should not be there. Get it? So only if all these three are there, it's a price take. When one of this is not there, right? So let's say there is a perfect information. Let's say there is a firm supplies only a small portion, but the product is not homogeneous. The product is a unique product. Then also you will have a downward slope. Let's say you have a homogeneous product. One firm supplies only a small portion, but there is imperfect information. Then also it's downward slope. So all of these three criteria have to be met in order for a firm to be downward sloping. So here the firm's demand curve to be downward slope. Now here we'll read the question again. They're saying an industry consists of a large number of firms, right? There's large number of firms, fine. All of which produce an identical product. So they're producing a same homogeneous product. What could explain why the demand curve? See, now all of industry consists of a large number of firms. So if there are a large number of firms, guys, one person will be able to supply only a small portion. So this criteria is met. Come on. Well, let's say there is 2,000 people, 2,000 supplies in the market, a large number. One fellow can't supply a lot. No, he will only supply a small portion of the entire supply. And then produce identical products. So they are producing homogeneous products also. They are having homogeneous products. They are having a large number of firms, and one fellow is supplying only a small portion. But still, the individual demand curve is downward sloping. Why is the individual demand downward sloping then? The individual demand curve is downward sloping because this third criteria is not met. The third criteria, which is perfect information, is not met. Can you see the fifth answer here? Imperfect knowledge about the market on the part of company, of consumers. So when you don't have perfect knowledge, when you have imperfect knowledge, no matter if you have satisfied the first criteria and the second criteria, you will still have a downward sloping demand curve. So when there are price takers, will there be a downward sloping? No. Free entry and exit doesn't really matter. Perfect mobility doesn't really matter, right? Limit on the consumers have to have the ability. This also doesn't really matter, right? It's these three criteria that has to be there to decide whether a firm is a price taker or a price maker. So this firm is a price maker, right? So if all of these three are there, you are a price taker. If only a few of this is there, right, you become a price maker. You'll be able to change the class time to 1 to 3 or 12 to 2. Guys, the only issue is, guys, the class time here I can't change because it's not my Zoom account. This Zoom account, since there is more than 100, if there was less than 100, I can change the time because it will be my Zoom account. I'm borrowing this Zoom account from another institute, right? So they give it to me. That's why the class starts sharp at 2, because usually if it was one of my revision classes, I started a little early, right? I tell you all to join 10 minutes early, 10 minutes early itself. I have you all inside, and then things happen that way. But here I have to wait until they start the meeting for me, and they have to do that. So I can't really change the time because it's the only time they are free. So we voted and we sorted the time, guys, so that I'm going with the majority, right? I don't know if I showed you all the votes. Remember, I asked you all to vote for whether Sunday or this thing. So I understand, guys. There is a lot of students who texted me saying, there is this thing at this time, there is this thing at that time, right? So there will not be one perfect time that everyone is free, right? I totally understand when there is this much of students. If it was a small class, yes, someone can be, but thing is, guys, so if you are a revision class student, you're somewhat okay because the recording will be definitely given. Others, guys, please try to compromise and do something, because if I start providing the recording for this, and given that it's free, I know no one is going to value it, right? You all know how many people are there on the group, right? Okay, but how many people actually come for the class? It's very little. So now all of these people are who took the effort to register, right? So they registered, and they keep on telling me add, and I add them to the group, but at the end, not much show up. So that happens because when it's given for free, there are some people who actually make use of it. I'm really uh, proud of you people, right? Of making you can use of the opportunity. But for some, when it's given for free, there is no value of it. But let's say I charged, let's say around, let's say 100 rupees or 200 rupees for this class, let's say a month. At least then, there is some thing saying, at least I'm paying 200. No, I should come for this class, Kela. Mhm. That thing happens. So remove those who didn't. I can remove those who didn't, but that at the end, so what I felt, I said, right, at the first month, I said that I will remove those who don't come. No. So what I realized is some people are coming one day, they're not coming the other day, they're coming another day. So then I felt, really bad, you know, when they come one day. So if in case I remove again, they'll be, texting me saying, so please add me again, this and that again. It's going to be an annoying story for me. I have to spend a lot of time again. Now see, there's around 300, I think. There are two groups, right? One group has, I don't know how much, 250, 240 odd, and the other group has around 150 the Goedo, right? So yeah, I can remove. I have attendance marked and I have everything, but then I have to manually remove, no guys. So that is that is another lot of time that I go, and then again, when if in case I remove also, these people also going to feel bad about it, and then sometimes, some people don't come for genuine reasons, right? So maybe the weather is bad, a funeral, something is there. That issue is there. How about 7 p.m.? I mean, about changing the class. I can't, because I can't change the class. It's not about when I am free, it's when that institute is free. So I can't change the time. So I'm free on Sunday night. So I have my revision class. It's less than 100 students. That I have it at extra classes on Sunday. I do that. Here I don't have ways of doing it. Yes, guys, attendance is monitored. This is a paid account. I can get the list of all the participants. That's why I ask you all to rename yourselves with your registration numbers, those who have, and at least with your uh, name, so we can track. Okay, so that's that, guys. Changing the time is very, very hard, right? Because that's why I have a vote before I change the time also, because we'll go with the majority. Early morning, I don't know, will you all come? But I will check with that other account also. So we'll see. So far, it's okay, because at the end, okay, this is my understanding, right? Whoever who uh, wants to come will somehow come, guys, right? So if whether you have, whatever thing, if you really want, if you really have that what thing to that I need to get this done, no matter what, you're gonna come, right? Whether I have it at this time or some other time. So adjust a bit, right? And try to figure things out. Okay, it's not hard. Work with your friends. If you missed it, ask your friends, ask them to help you out, right? Work together. It is definitely possible. But I think this will be a good program, because towards the end you will realize the value, not right now. Towards the end, when you're struggling to do past papers, and when your friend has not even started past papers, and when you finish the entire past paper, let's say by around uh let's say May, or let's say April, May, right? That will give you a lot of confidence. And it's the same questions being repeated. That is why I'm doing it. So try your level best to come, but I understand there can be, certain issues. Okay. Really, really sorry about that, guys. If I can do something, I will always, always do it. His participant ID is always the same. Participant ID in the sense that name, guys. I have given you a thing called there is. Some of you all got what registration number, right? BYC space 21 something something a number, right? I think the really new people would have not got, but most of the others would have got, right? So in case you don't have a number, at least rename yourself with your full name, how you have entered in the Google form, So have it with your full name. So then even when you're in case we mark attendance, that we can search you through the name. We can search you through the code or through the name. If you are with a crazy different name and that we can't find, then there is no thing there. Okay, right. This question, a good question. A perfectly competitive firm is producing 200 bags of rice per week, which it sells at 250 per bag. The table shows the firm's cost, total fixed cost, total variable cost, marginal cost. Okay. In the short run, what should the firm do to maximize its profits or losses? Okay. This question. First of all, right, in order to maximize profits or losses. Okay, give me a second. Let me try to find a diagram. Let's have to draw the diagram. When you Google for a diagram, this is MR. Okay, profit maximizing. Is MC. It's minimize the losses. Okay, MR equals MC. Okay, let's diagram. Give me a second. Okay. Okay. So okay, forget about this income effect or something. You don't really need that, right? So forget about that part. It's just a picture I got from the internet. So in the short run, what should the firm do to maximize profits or losses? To maximize profits or losses, guys, tell me at which point is profits maximized? Profits are maximized at which point? When? What equals what? So profit is maximized when MR is equal to MC at this point, right? So you tell me, right, if the MC is greater, so at this point Q only, the profits are maximized. At point B, let's say at point B, what should a firm do to maximize its profits? If they're at point B, should they increase their output or should they reduce their output? Should they reduce their output? They have to decrease their output, no? So profits are maximized at this point, at the point Q. So if they are producing this quantity of B, then they have to go this side. They have to reduce the output. So you can say when the MC is greater than MR, you have to reduce, right? So if MR equals MC, you do nothing, right? You maintain the current output, right? You don't change. So if the MC is greater, what do we do? If the MC is greater than MR, we have to reduce the output, right? If the MR is greater, that is, we are on this side, let's say in point A. So here at point A, the MC is at this point, the MR is at this point. Now what do we do to maximize our profit? To maximize our profit, now we have to increase the output. Guys, I'm hoping that y'all are okay, good with the logic behind it. I'm just explaining the diagram, not the logic, right? So here we have to increase the output. So this is how we figure it out. Now, first of all, you have to also see what is the shutdown point. Tell me the shutdown point. The firm's price has to be minimum equal to what? They should be minimum receiving what? AVC, no? So remember, when you're answering this question, the first thing that you have to check is the price greater than AVC. That is the first thing. If it is yes, okay. If it is no, right? If it is no, what do we do? If the price is not greater than AVC, what do we do? If it is no, what do we do? Exactly. We will shut down. If the price is not greater than AVC, now let's say the price is 50 rupees, but the average variable cost is, let's say, 60. So if you're not even getting a price to cover your average variable cost, you will shut down. If it is yes, right? If it is yes, then you check this. Then you check what is here, right? So this is there is two steps to answer this question. So the first one is, first you have to check whether the price is greater than average variable cost. If it's no, then your answer should be, what should the firm do to maximize its profits or losses, maximize its profits or minimize its losses? It has to shut down. If the answer is yes, then how do you do? You have to figure out, then you have to go one step ahead and see whether MR equals MC or what is that, right? So I'll show you how this works. We'll look at this question. So they're saying a perfectly competitive firm is producing 200 bags of rice. So 200 is the quantity. And they're saying which it sells at 250 per bag. Now remember, the price of it is 250. Now can you all tell me, in perfect competition, right? In perfect competition, the price is equal to what? Price is equal to marginal revenue. It's also equal to average revenue. Right? Also, it may be equal to demand. So the simple thing, you at least have to know that price is equal to marginal revenue. So the price is 250, the marginal revenue is 250, right? Then they're saying the total fixed cost is 20, total variable cost is 40, marginal cost is 250. Now, what did I tell you all to first look at? I told you all to figure out, is the price greater than ABC? So price is how much? Price is 250. We figure out. Price given in the question, 250. How do we find the AVC? The AVC. What is average variable cost? Because average variable cost is the total variable cost divided by the number of units. So total variable cost, how much is it? It's 40,000. Number of units is 200. 40,000 divided by 200, how much do we get? 40,000 divided by 200, we get 200. So is the price greater than AVC? Yes. Price is 250, AVC is 200. So then will you shut down? No. So this option is cancelled now. So if the price is less only, you have to shut down. But here price is greater, 250 is greater than 200. So now you have to go one step ahead now. So in the next step, first remember, you can't switch the steps. You first have to check this, whether the price is greater than AVC. So if the price is less than AVC, you have to shut down. Your answer will be cease production or shut down, right? So here, now, yes, price is greater. Now you have to check. Now they are saying the marginal cost here is 250. The marginal revenue is also 250. MR equals MC. We are in this part. They are saying MC is equal to 250. They are saying price is equal to 250. You know price is equal to MR. So 250 and 250 both are equal. So what should the firm do? They have to maintain the current output. They should not increase. They should not decrease. In order to increase their profit, they have to be there at the same level. So what is the answer? The answer is number 5. How is the AVC 200, guys? The AVC became 200. What is AVC? Average variable cost is equal to total variable cost divided by the quantity. So total variable cost is 40,000. Quantity, they are producing 200 bags. 40,000 divided by 200 is equal to 200. Okay, to explain this once more, guys, if they give you a question like this, these questions is there in the future also, right? If they give you a question like this, what should a firm do to maximize its profits or minimize its losses? The first thing that you have to do from the information that they have given, you have to figure out what is the price and what is the average variable cost. So they have said price is 250. They have said total variable cost is 40,000. Through that, you can find the average variable cost. So now after you find the price and the average variable cost, you have to compare the two. Remember, if the price is lesser than average variable cost, you will shut down. Now remember shutdown point in this. So you will compare the two. If the price is lesser, you will shut down. But if the price is greater, if it is yes, then you have to compare. Then you have to start comparing whether MR is equal to MC. Okay, so if you want, I'll switch this here. This comes under this part. If you're okay. So first you do this, then you do this, right? So that is that. You check whether MR equals MC, and then what happens, right? According to this question, MC is equal to 250 and MR equals 250. So both are equal. So you have to keep your output at the present level. Should we find the revenue? No, you don't have to find the revenue, not needed. They're not asking you for revenue, they're asking what should the firm do to maximize profits or minimize losses. So should they increase their output, should they stop producing, should they decrease their output, or what should they do? So this is how you simply check, guys. There is 4 answers that you can get. Number 1 is shut down if this condition is met. If this is yes, then you have to check these. So you can get 3 other answers: maintain at the current output, reduce the output, or increase the output. So 4 different answers can come in a question like this. There is a question like this in the future also. I remember in papers, I think even in my paper that I did 2017, there was a question like this. If TR is greater than TVC, can we directly get the answer? No. You don't get TR and TVC. You don't get it that way. You can't figure out. Okay. So profits are actually maximized at this point. Are we okay, Sep? There is another question like this as well. 19th question answer is 5. Yeah, 19th question answer is 5. Okay. So this is a good question, right? Work on this. Take a have, guys, if you all think cease production means, you completely shut down and go. You shut down and go. That is what cease production is. So guys, now this question, now people who are not in the revision class, I use a bit of your brains, right? You don't get the recording now. So at least take screenshots and keep, so that, later, at least when you're studying and going back, right, you can refer to things. Okay, so use a bit of common sense. Okay. Previous question, due to free entry and exit, also demand curve slopes downward. Free entry and exit, not really. You can't really say that. You can't really conclude saying simply because of free entry and exit there is downward sloping demand. That doesn't really affect the price taking or price making behavior. Remember, there is what slope of the demand curve depends based on whether you're a price maker or price taker. So downward sloping means you're a price taker. So free entry or exit, whether you have free entry or exit or not, it doesn't really affect price making or price taking. Okay, so not that. Okay, done. Then we go into, okay, that's it with that. That's it. Huh? Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the next part. Yeah, we'll go a bit faster. I think we have, how many questions? We have around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, around 12 questions. Downward sloping means it's a price maker. Yes, downward sloping means a price maker, that they can charge whatever price, not whatever price, they can charge their own price. Okay, we'll go a bit faster. 2014, when marginal product, guys, don't want a break, right? I'll finish at 4. I'll finish sharp at 4. No break. Okay. 2014 A levels. Question number 13. The marginal product of a short-run production function is 0. Of a firm is 0. So when the marginal product is 0, when MP is 0, guys, if you know the diagram, it's a very easy thing. So where is MP 0? MP is 0 at this point. So when MP is 0, TP is maximized. Yes, that is the answer. Average product is maximized. No. AP is maximized at this point. No. Average cost is minimized. No. Average cost is a what mirror diagram of this? No. Marginal cost is minimized. No. Marginal product equals average product. Marginal product equals average product at this point. No. So when the MP is 0, right? If you know your diagram well, guys, this is a very, very easy question. So when MP is equal to 0, you know the total product is at its highest. So when the marginal product is falling, the total product will also start to fall like this. So when MP is 0, total product is maximized. Please go through your diagrams. It is there. Okay. Simple question. Okay. Another easy theory question. The meaning of law of returns to scale. Remember earlier in the question they asked law of diminishing returns. Now they're asking what is the meaning of law of returns to scale. So what is the meaning of law of returns to scale? Law of returns to scale is in the which run? In the short run or the long run? Law of returns to scale in the long run. So in the long run, when you're increasing your output, which inputs can you change? In the long run, to increase your output, you can change which inputs? Exactly, you can change all your inputs, guys. You can change your variable and your fixed one also. So you can change all the inputs That is that. Okay. So then, okay, the meaning of law of is the answer here is the first one, 13. Okay. The 14th one, the meaning of law of returns to scale is the way of change in total output to a firm of change in prices of inputs. No, not prices of inputs. We're not talking about something called prices of inputs. So not that. Okay. Number 2 is saying the way of change in total output when variable inputs are changed while holding one output constant. Right. Law of return scale, long run. Long run, not only variable inputs, all the inputs are changing. So not this also. Number 3 is saying the way of change in total output of a firm to a change in technology. Not really. The way of changing total output of a firm to change in quality of the inputs. No, not the quality. We are looking at the quantity, the number of inputs. So not this also. And look at number 5. The way of change in total output of a firm when all inputs are changed. Yes, right. That is what the law of returns to scale is telling us. Law of returns scale is showing us when you change all the inputs, how is the total output gonna change? So remember, increasing returns to scale, constant returns to scale, decreasing returns to scale, right? Hoping you all are aware of those. So answer number 5. This is pure theory coming from definitions, right? Nothing at all hard. You know the unit, trust me, it is a very, very easy thing. Guys, people who are blank, right? Please go through the unit. Trust me, you will figure it out very easily. Okay. Okay, coming into this. I put a diagram because I'm lazy to draw. The shape of the total cost curve of a firm in the short run is determined by. So I'll just put the total cost curve, total variable cost. Remember, guys, don't confuse total cost with average cost, right? Total cost and the average cost curve is different. Okay. That's why I put this diagram, because when we say total cost, you all will think of the average cost. Okay, the shape of the total cost curve of firm is determined by. Okay, can you just from this diagram, just see the total cost curve looks like which curve? Looks like which curve in this diagram? It looks like the TVC, no? That is why I put the diagram. It looks like the total variable cost. So the shape of the total cost curve is determined by the behavior of the total variable cost. So that is what I'm trying to prove. So remember, the total fixed cost curve is anyway constant. No, that is not going to change. The total fixed cost is not going to change. That is constant. So the shape of this, whether it is going this way or that way, right? Whatever shape it takes is because of the total variable cost, right? So the shape of the total cost curve of firm is determined by what? Not the behavior of average fixed cost, not the change in technology, not the behavior of average total cost, or not because of returns to scale. Its behavior is dependent on the total variable cost. Okay, what is the difference between these two curves? These two curves, what is the difference? Exactly, the difference between these two curves, guys, is the total fixed cost. Okay, it's 50, right? Number wise, it's 50. In other words, it's the total fixed cost. This difference here, this difference, right, is the same difference. So this is 50, right? So in case they ask you what is the difference between the total cost and the total variable cost, you have to say it's the total fixed cost. Okay, easy question. Answer number 4. Okay, going to the 16th question. Then 16th question, they're saying, oops, okay, again it's a nice question. Even if the average fixed cost of a firm, now remember the curves you have. Okay, this curve is a little okay, give me a second. If I'll see if I can find a nicer diagram. Mm, mm, okay, this diagram, oh, that's ugly. Okay, this diagram. Okay, give me a second. I think okay, this diagram looks better. Okay, yeah, so if you look at these curves like this, right, you have the average fixed cost, you have the average variable cost, average total cost, and the marginal cost. So here they're saying even if the average fixed cost of a firm is continuously decreases. Continuously decreases. Yes, nice tag. Continuously decreases with the increase in output. So if you can see when the output is increasing, the AFC keeps on decreasing, goes down, 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 down. But they are saying, but it never becomes zero. So if for it to become zero, that means it has to touch this line. Now this is zero. No? So if it goes like this, like this, like this, but it will never touch zero. Why doesn't it ever touch zero? Guys, it doesn't touch zero, guys, because there is a fixed cost. Now, what is that nonsense? There is a fixed cost. Now, tell me, how do you calculate average fixed cost? Average fixed cost is equal to total fixed cost divided by your output. So, let's say your total fixed cost, right, is let's say 10,000. Let's say you're producing 100 units. So then your average fixed cost is going to be 100. Let's say your total fixed cost, now total fixed cost will not change. No. Let's say you're producing, let's say 100,000 units. So 10,000 units, your total fixed cost is going to be 1. So let's say your total fixed cost is still 10,000. Total fixed cost will not change. No. 10,000. Let's say you're producing, let's say even 1 million or 1 billion or anything, right? I'm not going to do the numbers. It will still not be zero. No, it will still be 0 point something, 0.0000000 and something. Maybe this thing. I didn't calculate the zeros. I'm just saying. So it will never hit zero. Why will it never hit zero? It will never become zero because this component is there. Because there is this fixed cost part. So this is not becoming zero, no. At any point. Okay, give me a second. Okay. At any point, right, this doesn't become zero, no. So since the fixed cost doesn't become zero, right, your average fixed cost will also never become zero. With output, it will fall, but it will never become zero. Why doesn't it become zero? Because there is a fixed cost, because the fixed cost is still there. It's still 10,000. 10,000 of fixed cost is there. Whether you produce 1 billion or 100 billion, right, 10,000 divided by that quantity of 100 billion will still not give you zero. It will give you some 0.00 something, still not zero. Why is it not zero? Why does it never become zero, guys? Because there is a fixed cost. Clear? Yes? No? Step? Okay, that is the answer there. Answer number 5. Then we'll go on to question 17. Okay, this is again a easy question that comes from, there's a logic behind this, but I'm not going to explain the logic to all of that. I'll just explain this thing. Okay, to repeat that part, guys, to give you a basic understanding, they're asking, even if the average fixed cost is decreasing, why doesn't it become zero? So how do we calculate average fixed cost? Average fixed cost is calculated by the total fixed cost divided by quantity. So even when this quantity part of it, right, even if the quantity is increasing, see, I put 100, 10,000, I don't know how much is this, right? Even if I put a huge number, right, even the quantity increases, this will never become zero, no? Why does it never become zero? Because there is a positive numerator. Because what is the numerator here? The numerator is the fixed cost. Because there is a fixed cost. Even if you, let's say, produce, I don't know, a billion units, right, this will still not be zero. That is the logic behind that. Okay, this one, question number 17. Question number 17 is saying the short run supply curve of a firm is. Easy question. It comes from your shutdown price logic. Okay, where is the shutdown point? Can you all tell me in this diagram, where is the shutdown point? Okay, I'll give you all maybe a few points. I'll give you the blue point, let's say the green point, let's say the orange point. Okay, anything. Which of this is the shutdown point? The blue, the green, the orange. The blue one, right? The blue is the shutdown price. So what is the shutdown price? The shutdown price is, they say, right, the minimum average variable cost. So if a firm can't cover its minimum average variable cost, right, if the price that they are getting is not even enough to cover their minimum average variable cost, what did we say? The firm will shut down. They will no longer be there. They will shut down and they will go. Therefore, the firm will not supply, no, at any price below this minimum part, they will not supply. So only when they get a price above this part, right? When they get a price above this minimum average variable cost, they will supply. So the supply curve, right? Remember, guys, I'm hoping you all know the logics, right? The supply curve is the marginal cost curve above the average variable cost. This yellow part, I'll erase what is drawn. This yellow part here, this yellow part is the marginal cost curve above the minimum average variable cost. It comes basic things from the diagram. If you know the diagram, this is trust me, it's a simplest question you can ever get. So the short-term supply curve of firm is the marginal cost curve above average variable cost. So the marginal cost curve above the average variable cost. This part of this marginal cost curve is the short run supply curve of a firm. Okay, are we okay? Yes, shape. Yes, do you all recall things when this is said, or if you all are completely blank, trust me, it doesn't make sense. At least you know what has been taught in some of your theory class or revision class, or in school, it has to pop up at this point. Only then it would make sense, because if it doesn't make sense, if me just having a diagram like this and you seeing these letters, if it is Greek, that is really bad, right? So please make sure you study, you do the questions, and then come, right? Because otherwise it's not going to be effective. It's a waste of your time, it's a waste of my time. Up to P equals AVC. P equals AVC, some firms will supply and some firms will not supply. Yes, when the price equals average variable cost, it's decision for them. You can either supply, you can either not supply. There is no difference there. But if the price is less than AVC, you will shut down. If the price is greater than AVC, then you will still stay and supply. Okay, to repeat this once again, guys, basic thing, right? There is something called a shutdown price, right? Why is it the shutdown price? Guys, recall your theory, recall whatever things that you studied, right? So the shutdown price is the minimum average variable cost, right? So if you are getting a price lesser than this minimum AVC, remember this is the AVC curve. If you're getting a price lesser than this minimum AVC, then you will not supply, right? So you will only supply if your price is greater than this minimum AVC. So only this part, right, will be your supply curve. So any price below this, there is no supply. So the supply curve in the short run supply curve is the marginal cost curve above the AVC. Above this part only you have this, right? I'm telling you all that clearly. Guys, do you get any information about your exam? Whether your exam is getting postponed or not? I'm not very sure, guys, but I have a feeling from most people I asked, there is a feeling that your exam might get postponed, but I'm not very sure. But my plan is to please make sure you think it's in August and study. Don't wait until the very end. Okay. Okay, guys, I'll tell you one thing, right? People who are lost in this unit, right? If you don't have a if you don't have a way of studying, the cheapest option that you can ever do, I'll tell you, is to get hold of my revision class recording, right? You can go to the website, right? If you don't know how to do it, you can get it for 1,000 rupees. I know at this point people are struggling to go for individual classes and all of that. Trust me, one individual class is going to cost you around, let's say, 1,500, 2,000 if it's a good teacher, right? So, and you can't cover one unit properly in one class. This is the cheapest option that I'm telling you, that is there for you to cover things up. Last minute, you can't do this. If you are completely lost, if you don't have a note, if you have not learned any unit, right, your cheapest option is to go, let's say, buy the recording, right? All the recording of revision class, plus the tute will be sent. That's the cheapest option that you can get. I'm not trying to promote my thing. I'm just trying to tell you all that this is the, even logically, trust me, even if I was a student and if I did not know a unit, this is the cheapest option I would go to, right? Because trust me, I don't know if you all are here, but most of you all, at least I've got, let's say, around 10 to 20 messages from the BYC students asking for individual classes. So I know you all are looking for individual classes, right? Not one recording is 2,000, the entire unit is 1,000, right? So one unit will have around, let's say, 5, 6, 2 to 3 hour classes. So it's properly explained from basic, Okay, so that is, and I'm not trying to promote anything, but I'm telling you, yes, delivery, tute charge, everything included. 1,000, that's all. Yes, tute everything. Okay, I'm telling you that's the cheapest option that you can get, right? Because I'm telling, because a lot of students ask me for individual classes. Trust me now. Earlier, I remember I did individual classes. Per class, I charge 3,000. Because come on, that's my time, right? The effort I put in, and come on, 3,000 is a lot for y'all, right? I don't know if you're a filthy rich, then it's fine. Go for an individual class. But I'm catering this for a normal student, right? So for a normal guy, right, 3,000 per class is a lot. And in a class per class, let's say a 2 hour or a 3 hour class, how much can you do? You can't finish one entire unit. You can't teach a fellow who is completely blank. You can't teach an entire unit in 3 hours. No matter which teacher, you can't. Okay? It takes time for the child to process. A fast track, maybe after the student has done the unit 2 or 3 times, then you can finish the unit in 3 hours. You can't do that. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. Okay, yes, each chapter is 1,000 rupees if you're buying it individually, right? If you're buying unit 1 to 6 all together, it's 4,000. That's tute, delivery cost, everything included inside that, nothing additional. I'm not just drop me a text after class, I'll just tell you all. But just remember, without, it's too late, because I know people who are struggling at the very last moment. Guys, the website is iTutorSL.lk. If you don't know much about it, you can just drop me a text. I'll teach you how to get things done. Right? I'm telling you, this is the cheapest option, not just to promote my thing, just to save money from y'all, because y'all asked me for individual classes. Yeah. LMS.itutor.lk, that is for the revision class students. That is for your recording, guys. iTutorSL.lk is the one for to purchase the recordings. So revision class students, you anyway have another system. That is lms.it.lk, not that. Okay. Lessons after unit 6 are available. Unit 6 lessons are not yet available, because when I do the revision class, after I do only I put it. So right now, today I'm doing the last class for unit 7. So once I do this class, then maybe another 2-3 days, unit 7 recording will be there. So once I finish unit number 8, unit 8 recording will also be there. So for now, only 1 to 6 is there. In another 2-3 days, unit 7 will be there. So eventually by March, all the units will be there. Yeah. So I'm telling you the cheaper option. Okay, that's done. 17, we'll go on to 18. Okay, 18 says, when there are few large firms selling homogeneous or differentiated products in a market, it is known as, easy one. Few large firms, come on, few large firms, easy one, right? It's a what market? It's a oligopolistic market. Okay, guys, a duopoly is not in your syllabus. A duopoly is where there is just two firms. Not in your syllabus, don't worry. So a few large firms selling either a homogeneous or a differentiated product, guys, it is a oligopolistic market, a very, very basic thing. Not a duopoly, that is, it has two firms, not that. Not monopolistic, competitive, not perfectly competitive, not a monopolistic market as well. Yeah, it's a oligopolistic market. Easy one, comes from the basic definition. Then we'll go on to question number 19. Yes, duopoly has two firms. Yes. Question number 19. The demand curve of a perfectly competitive firm is perfectly elastic. Why did I say the demand curve is perfectly elastic? What is the reason? Why did I say that the firm's demand curve is like this? I explained this before. The firm's demand curve is parallel to this because it's a price taker. So when they are a price taker, right? Remember the three conditions for price taker. Now those you all have to remember. I explained it before, right? The three conditions. If those three conditions are met, you are a price taker. If you are a price taker, you have a perfectly elastic demand curve. So which answer is telling you that, right? Homogeneous products are sold in the market. Yes, that is a reason for being a price taker, but that is not the only reason. Supplier is a price maker. No, supplier is a price taker. Supplier or the firm is a price taker. Required information not available. Advertising is absent. No, it's answer number 3. Okay, question number 17. The answer. Question number 17. The answer is number 1. Okay. So back to this. 19 is very easy, right? Explained before. Question number 20. Okay, now this is an interesting question, and I think, okay, one student asked me, is this fellow there? Okay, he's not that way. Okay. So this question, a monopoly firm can decide. Now, what can a monopoly firm decide? A price of the good, the price or the quantity of the good, both the price and the quantity, or both production cost and quantity of the good. Okay. So what is the answer behind this, or what is the logic behind this, guys? The answer for this is the third one. Okay. Guys, they can decide, right? They can't decide both the price and the thing. They can only decide one of it, guys. A monopoly firm, right? This is why I copied this part and kept as well. They say a monopoly is a market with only one seller, right? Listen to me very carefully. They say a monopolist is free to set prices or production quantities, but not both. You can either set the price or the quantity, but not both. Why? Because he faces a downward sloping demand curve. He cannot have a high price and high sales. Now, what will you want? You will want to have a higher price and higher quantity sold also. Now, you can't do that. Why? A monopoly firm has a downward sloping demand. So, if he chooses to have, let's say, a higher price, his quantity will be low. If he chooses to, let's say, have a higher quantity, his price will be low. So, he can't choose both. He can't choose the price and quantity both. He can choose one. According to the other, only the other thing is set. So you can't choose both a high price and a high quantity. So a monopoly firm, because they are facing a downward sloping demand curve, they can only decide on the price over the quantity. So if they decide that they want a higher quantity, they will have to give it a lesser price. If they decide they want a higher price, they will be only able to give a lesser quantity. Okay, so a monopoly firm can decide the price or the quantity. Number two, not both. Okay, usually people think both. Even I remember the first time I answered both, right? So it's not both, it's not price only, it's not quantity only, right? This one is not messing at all, right? So it's that they can decide either the price or either the quantity, one of that. So if they decide they want a higher price, they will have to sell a lesser quantity. If they decide they want to sell a higher quantity, then they will have to give it a lesser price. They can't have both high. If a monopolistic firms supplies an essential good, does it become inelastic demand? Yeah, if it's an essential good, it can become inelastic demand. What is inflation? There is no inflation in this unit. Inflation is where the prices in the country are rising. Okay. 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 I'll give you 2 minutes. Try to think an answer for this. Think the condition that should be satisfied at equilibrium. I'll give you all a poll. Question number 21, 2014. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Few of you all have voted. Question screen is invisible. The question screen is invisible because I have launched a poll. Blue lays coming. Don't you all see the poll? Don't you all see the question? What do you think the answer is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to vote? No? Around 66 people have voted, the others. Okay. So I'll end it. Okay, so most of you all voted for number 1. 59% of you all. This is like this, like the Lakshapati thing, where you have, ask the audience. See, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like this thing. You have this ask the audience thing, and people vote. Okay, you can't see the question, guys. I don't know why you can't see the question, but usually I think it should pop So I'll stop this. Okay, so most of you are going with number 1. Okay. The condition that should be satisfied at equilibrium. So at equilibrium, guys, what should happen? MR equals MC when MC is increasing. Okay. MR equals MC when MC is decreasing. No, guys, where is the equilibrium here? They're talking about the profit maximizing point, right? Where is profits maximized? Where you have a constant level of output. So you have the MR, you have the MC. So at this point only, there is equilibrium. Where, so if they're at this point, they have to increase output. If they are, let's say, at this point, they have to decrease output. So not equilibrium. So this is where the firm reaches equilibrium, where they're maximizing their profit. So which point are they maximizing their profit? When MR equals MC, when the MC is increasing. This is the answer. Then MR equals MC when MC is decreasing. No, MC is increasing, right? So not that. Then the marginal revenue equals marginal cost at minimum point of marginal cost. No, this is the minimum point of marginal cost, not that. Marginal revenue equals marginal cost when average cost is increasing. Marginal revenue equals marginal cost when AC is increasing, not really, right? Then marginal revenue equals marginal cost when average cost is decreasing. That doesn't really matter, guys. The condition is marginal revenue has to equal to marginal cost when the marginal cost is increasing. So this is the point where the firm will be at equilibrium or will maximize their profits. So answer number 1. Okay, answer for question number 20 is this. Yeah, this is the answer for question number 20. Okay, answer number 2. 2 is the correct answer, both price and quantity. Okay, then 21, answer number 1, and that's that. Okay, are we okay, set? Yes, trust me, guys, people who know this unit, people who know the diagrams, I think this is very easy. It's even easier than unit number 2 and 3. If you know the diagrams, I think it is easier than 2 and 3 and all the MCQs we did. Okay, okay, the final one. Okay, Azan. This is the second time I'm hearing that there is Azan. I heard that there was Azan around 2-3 minutes ago and I stayed quiet as well. Okay, so 2015 levels, this part. Okay, a few more questions, 4 more questions and we're done. In the production process, a short run is a period of time in which, easy one. The short run, what do we say? A firm is not able to hire more workers, amount of output is fixed, shortage of inputs, all inputs are fixed, but output can be varied. The quantities of some inputs are fixed and others are varied. What happens? Guys, the short run is where there is at least one fixed factor. So some inputs are fixed, some inputs are variable, right? Comes basic from the definition of what short run production is. Easiest questions you can ever get, guys, right? 18, answer number 5. Then question number, okay, easy one. 19, the vertical distance between the total cost and the total variable cost curve is the vertical distance between this and this, total cost and total variable. What did I say? It's equal to the total fixed cost. Now I said it's equal to total fixed cost. So answer number 4. Easy as that, right? Trust me, these questions are easy. Easier than unit 2 and 3 MCQs. Trust me, it's easy. Okay, if you know the unit, it's way easier. So it's equal to total fixed cost. Okay, then you have this. Given the cost and demand, okay, given the cost and demand schedules of a competitive firm depicted in the diagram given below, if the firm increased output from Q1 to Q2, now read this diagram. Q1 is where MC equals MR, right? This is MR, no? Price, demand. This is MR. This is MC. So at Q1, that MR equals MC. That their highest probable profits. So this is the highest profit. Their profit is maximized. Now, when they are going from Q1 to Q2, what will happen? Their profits will start to fall, no? If their profits are maximized at MR equals MC, that is at point Q1, if they're going from Q1 to Q2, now yes, they might, you can't necessarily say that they are earning a loss also, right? What happens? Whatever profit that they are making is now less. Their profits are less. Earns a normal profit? No. Experience an increase in profit? No, because they're at the highest level of profit. They can't get more than this, right? Experience a decline in profits? Yes. If they go from Q1 to Q2, because Q1 is the profit maximizing point. So at this point only their profits are the maximum. So from here, if they go to here, what happens? Their profits will start to decline. Increase revenue but not cost. Not that way. The cost will also increase, revenue will also increase. Not this. And then increase cost but no revenues. No, both will increase. What is normal profits, guys? Normal profit is where a firm is earning total revenue enough to cover their total cost. There is no supernormal profit. The total revenue and total cost are equal. Just check in your exam, it would be there. Not in your exam, in your QT, it will be there. Okay. 20. Okay, this is the final question. Okay, final question today. We are good today, no? Okay, explain this again. Guys, so this comes with the normal profit maximizing diagram that I drew before, right? At this point, at the point where MR equals MC, right? You all know this demand. You remember this? Remember we said D is equal to MR is equal to AR is equal to price, right? That is this. So where is profits maximized? At Q1, right? So they are saying if the firm is increasing output from Q1 to Q2, so at Q1 MR equals MC, that means they are at the highest probable profit. Their profit is maximized. So now when they go from Q1 to Q2, what is happening? If Q1 they are earning the maximum profit, can they earn more than that? No. So now their profits are tending to fall, right? Their profits will fall. So that is why answer number 3 explains the decline in profit. Okay. And then the final question, number 21, that is, which of the following is not a characteristic of a monopolistically competitive market? When they increase the output, profit will decrease. Yes, because that is the maximum profit they can get. So if they increase or even if they decrease the output, at that point the profit will decrease. Which of the following is not a characteristic of monopolistic competitive? Okay, in a monopolistic market, think of, let's say, a saloon or let's say a small food outlet. Easy to enter? Yes, it is a characteristic. You can easily come. Okay. Differentiated products? Yes, they have a little bit of differentiated products. Okay. Substantial product advertising? Yes. No. Now these, let's say, clothing outlet, let's say No Limit, let's say Candy, let's say I don't know House of Fashion, let's say all of these outlets, they advertise a lot. No, there is a lot of advertising. Large number of buyers and sellers? Yes, large number of buyers and sellers. But does a monopolistically competitive firm have a perfectly elastic demand curve? Are they price takers? No, they are price makers. A monopolistic competitive firm, remember, only a perfect competition will have this. Oligopoly, monopoly, monopolistic competition, all of them will have a downward sloping demand curve. So firms don't face perfectly elastic demand curves. Firms face downward sloping demand curves. Okay, that is that. Okay, so that is that. Okay, one small thing, I was waiting until the very end to let you all know this is tonight, right? If you all are free, right, I'm teaching credit creation. This is the last class for my revision class 20, revision class unit number 7, credit creation. I don't know if you all have heard about it, right? So credit creation, right, I'm teaching that part. I did not inform this in the group, because if I inform it in the group, most of everyone might come, because I only have a 100 participant account. I don't have an account with more than 100, so only 100 people. So if you all want the link for that class, right? So the class is from today from 7 to 10 p.m. right? I'm just telling you all if you all want to, right? This is my revision class. If you all want to come, I've opened it because there are students I know credit creation is hard. 7 to 10 p.m. If you want the link, right, I will not be sending it in any group, right? I will not be sending it any group. You all have to text a friend who is there in the revision class. I'll send the link in the revision class group. I'll have to get it from them. Don't put it on a group, guys, because in case more than 100 comes, it is going to be an issue. I don't have 100 participant account. So how to get a link? From a friend, right, who is already in the revision class. From a friend who already comes. So revision class, there is around 90 students, but not all 90 come. So around 50 come. So even if 50 people outside come, it should be okay. So I don't want a lot of people coming, then it's going to be an issue. I'm going to do credit creation. It's a little bit of a technical area. Okay, if you don't have friends. If you don't have friends, maybe you should make friends. Uploading in the purchasing, right? Yes, I will upload this part also in the purchasing part if you don't. Okay, if you don't have a friend, just drop me a text, right? Because I don't know names of all 90 people who are in my revision class. But again, if you have a friend, ask them. If not, drop me a text. I'll try to forward as much as possible. Okay, but I will not put it on a group, because then if a lot of people come, it's going to be an issue. No, there is no charge, guys. It's free. Yeah. If you don't know the basic can be a little hard, but I've told my revision class students also to read the tute and come. I'll do something. Okay, we'll do something. Okay. So, okay, 21, some people wanted to just to recap, guys, comes with the characteristics, guys. For monopolistic comparison, demand curve, you can't really say whether it's elastic or inelastic, but you can definitely say it's not perfectly elastic. So, not a characteristic, firms face perfect elastic demand curve. No, so there is no perfect elastic demand curve. It can either be one of that, what else. Substantial means a lot of advertising, right? A significant amount of advertising. Okay? So answer number 5, because comes from the basic features. Connection issue 15th question of 2014. Okay, so this is the question. Answer is number 4, right? Okay, so that's it, guys. I have to finish the class by 4, because they need the institute needs the Zoom account, because it's not my Zoom account. They need the Zoom account for some other seminar. So that's it. We've done today's part. We're done until 2015. So next class, what you all have to do, you all have to do the remaining MCQs 2016 to 2020 and come, right? Do all the MCQs. We'll finish all the MCQs next Sunday. All right. So that's it for today. See you guys. Bye. Nice. Perfect. Bye. See you. Bye. Welcome.